It's time to get your quahog on. From Peter's outrageous outbursts to Stewie's diabolical schemes, Family Guy has given us some of the most iconic catchphrases in animation history. So let's count down the top 10 Family Guy catchphrases that'll make you laugh, cry, and scream. In the episode Da Boom, Peter hears news from the chicken guy that the world is about to end since the fearsome Y2K is coming.
Oh, Peter, you are the height of just too muchery.
Peter warns them to not laugh too much, as a person who laughs too much cries the most in the end. No wonder the class clowns are always so depressed. The Griffins are getting ready for the New Year's as Lois urges Peter to get ready quickly. Peter comes out all dressed up in a nuclear fallout suit and forces everyone to wear it as well.
Locked in a basement with imbeciles dressed like a gay Neil Armstrong.
Well, that's a way to spend the new millennium. Time ticks down as the countdown for the New Year starts making its way down.
A flautist, Peter.
Well, I hope you're happy.
Lois is disappointed in Peter that he made them miss out on the party just for some rumor, but before she can finish her sentence, the nuclear disaster strikes and takes everything with it.
Holy crap! Anybody else feel that?
For the first time ever, Lois accepts her mistake and praises Peter for saving their entire family while the rest of the world is dying from the nuclear radiation. Just look at what happened to their neighbors. Quagmire and Cleveland are now joined as Clevemeyer, but their differences are still there.
Boys, please. You used to be so close.
They are even closer now, one might say, stuck to each other. Due to the nuclear fallout, all the food was wasted away, so the Griffiths decide to leave Quahog to find the Twinkies factory in Natick, which is said to survive even the nuclear holocaust. Since they are leaving their home, they request Joe to keep an eye on the house.
I might as well, I melted to the ground.
From the wheelchair to the ground, what a downgrade. While the Griffins leave home to find the Twinkies factory, Joe watches over their house as he fights your average New York-sized rat with all that he has. I mean, what's there left to lose anyway? After going through a lot of trouble, the Griffins finally arrive at the Twinkies factory, and that's where they set up their new home, which they named New Quahog. Isn't this the same show that made fun of New England for having a stupid name? Peter becomes the mayor, and knowing him, he exercises his new authority in the wrong way, which causes everyone to turn on him, and he and his family are thrown out of the city, so they head out there to find a new place to call home. Talking about a new home, in the episode Peter Caviar Eater, Aunt Marguerite leaves her luxury mansion to Lois after death, which makes the greedy Peter sell his own house to move into their luxurious mansion, and just like every other instance, things go horribly wrong. The episode starts with Lois informing Peter that Aunt Marguerite will be coming to their house to live with them for a week.
Oh my gosh, she's dead.
Whoa!
Peter is extremely annoyed that he has to deal with her funeral, but after he learns that she left a will for them, he instantly becomes happy, as if he was never upset in the first place.
Holy crap! Oh, you sweet old broad, I love you! Hey!
The inheritance that Aunt Marguerite left behind for the Griffins was her luxurious mansion.
My God, this house is freaking sweet!
The Griffins really liked the mansion and enjoyed their weekend living a luxurious lifestyle. However, Peter being Peter, he instantly becomes greedy and moves permanently into this new mansion, without even telling Lois that he sold their previous home.
Peter, you're simply enchanting. You must join us tomorrow for a game of Baccarat.
Right.
If that wasn't enough, he starts spending money lavishly, and even buys a stupid old painting for $100 million, even though he doesn't have the money for it.
$100 million!
When Lois learns about it, she is extremely upset and decides to quit things with him.
Oh, Brian, I'm screwed.
Screwed is a light statement, Peter. What you are doing is called fraud. Peter realizes that he made a dumb mistake and apologizes to Lois for it. Lois understands that her husband is mentally challenged, so she forgives him. But she still doesn't know how they will pay the debt for Peter's stupidity. If only there was a secret hidden inside the mansion that would solve all these problems away.
Our problems are over.
Peter discovers an old box which holds the picture of all the old presidents having Diddy parties at the mansion, before Diddy Party was even a thing. After selling the pictures, he makes enough money to pay the debt and get their old house back as well. The episode starts with Lois pushing out Stewie as the doctor offers Peter to see how it looks. Peter accepts the offer since he has never seen a baby being born before, soon comes to regret it.
Hey, you know, I've never actually seen a live baby being... Oh, God!
I am sure we have all searched it once in our lifetime and immediately regretted ever doing so. It's a bird, it's a plane.
Congratulations, Mrs. Griffin, it's a boy.
Well, fortunately everything goes right and Stewie is born, alongside a map of Europe with nuclear targets marked all over France and England. Lois wants to plan a proper birthday for Stewie, as they never had the chance to do it for Meg and Chris since Peter ruined all of the moments for some giggles. While Lois is busy with the birthday celebrations, Meg is having her own problems as she confesses to Peter that her high school life sucks.
God, I hate high school. I don't fit in with anyone.
High school life wouldn't have sucked this bad only if she knew how to properly suck. Peter gives Meg some life lessons as he tells her how his life sucked as well. After having a nice father-daughter conversation, Meg leaves happy as Lois tells Peter that she is proud of him as her husband. While the whole family is in a great mood, Stewie is busy planning and writing down everything that happened to him ever since he was just a sperm. He recounts his journey from leaving Peter's balls to going inside Lois's ovaries, where he pushed aside all the other sperms to finally secure a home for himself.
But it was a trap. I was imprisoned in that uterine gulag for 9 grueling months.
Just be happy, little bro. At least you weren't aborted after 3 months. After having spent 9 terrible months in the womb, Stewie finally saw a light of hope, but just before he could escape, he was captured by a man in a white suit. Fortunately, that doctor was a professional, or you would have been made a girl just like how Meg did. Realizing that the man in the white might be plotting against him, Stewie decides to become serious before the doctor.
Put me back in the womb.
While Stewie is hatching his own plot, Lois is upset because she wasn't able to hire any of the professionals that she wanted to. But this is where Peter comes in a clutch and tells her that he has everything sorted out.
Honey, you won't have to lift a finger. I got us a clown, a cake, a petting zoo, a big-ass piñata to work.
Or at least that's what he tells to Lois, but in reality, he is just as clueless as her. As Stewie wants to raise his own army for the upcoming battle, he heads to Nicaragua, but the security at the airport finds him and takes him away as they mistake him for a lost baby.
I'll give you whatever you want. Money, women, men.
While Stewie is trying to bribe the security guard, Peter is thinking of a way to make Stewie's birthday celebration a grand event, but since he has no money, the only thing he can do is lure the grand parade towards his home.
Peter, this is the most wonderful celebration I could have imagined.
Wait till the cops show up at your place. Everyone is happy and the birthday party proceeds just according to plan, except that Lois finds that Meg isn't home and she has gone to a party at her friend's house. She requests Peter to go fetch at a party without Meg wouldn't be the same.
Today means nothing if Meg isn't here.
Peter, being a good father for once, decides to do something as he rushes off to bring Meg back home. Meg, on the other hand, has found herself at a cult party where everyone is preparing to unalive themselves by drinking a not-so-suspicious drink. But fortunately, Peter arrives on time and saves Meg.
Oh, geez, look at the time. Come on.
But the rest of the kids aren't so lucky, and they end up drinking the juice. The cult leader is upset that they didn't drink it with him, so he decides to chase Meg to drink with her instead.
Somebody's got to die with me. Come back, Meg!
The cult leader arrives at the Griffin's house, where he tries to find Meg, but ends up bumping into Stewie, who confuses him with the doctor since they are both in a white dress. The cult leader is baffled and asks Stewie who he is, to which Stewie answers him. It's a bird, it's a plane.
It's a boy.
If there's anyone you don't want to mess with, it's Stewie Griffin.
Victory is mine.
Talking about victory, let's not forget that one time when Peter's company had to play against their competitor in a softball game, but Peter accidentally injured the star player, almost causing him to get fired. In the episode A Hero Sits Next Door, Peter's boss at the toys factory announces to everyone that they have a softball practice on Saturday, and this time, they must avenge the humiliation they got last time at the softball game.
Oh, man, I hate those guys.
Peter is so ready to take his revenge that he forgets that he had planned to welcome their new neighbors who moved next door with Lois.
Last guy who lived next door borrowed my toaster. Never saw it again.
I wonder what happened to that toaster.
If that slut wants full custody of the kids, she's got it.
That was a valid crash out. After arguing with Lois, Peter finally arrives at the practice and feels the need to do pitching by himself. Mr. Weed warns him, but Peter is confident in himself.
Well, how hard can it be to pitch?
We will see it for ourselves, and there you go.
Somebody call 911.
With their elite player down, Mr. Weed is extremely upset and gives Peter a warning.
You're fired.
Oh, man, what am I gonna do if I get fired?
With his job at stake, Peter has to quickly find a replacement, but no one is willing to play for free, so Peter is already planning to be homeless in a few days. If that wasn't already horrifying, Peter is even more terrified of socializing with the new neighbors.
You must be Peter. Joe Swanson.
Peter is already not a fan of this Joe, but things escalate even more when Joe asks Peter if he can borrow his favorite screwdriver set. And if there's something a man will never share with another man, his wife still comes at number 2, as a screwdriver set takes the first place.
Jeez, can you believe that guy? Do you have a screwdriver I can borrow?
Later at night, Peter is thinking all about the new replacement for the ringer, but no one really comes to mind. But that's where Lois tells him that Joe used to play softball in the past.
He played in college.
He did?
Well, that was quick. Peter invites Joe to play for his company's team softball team, to which Joe is more than happy to play.
They play on their neighbor's company softball team like this Saturday. Huh? What do you say, neighbor?
Sounds like fun.
Peter is extremely excited to show Joe to his boss, but when Joe arrives, Peter becomes shocked.
Holy crap, he's a crapple.
Peter's boss is extremely upset at him because their ace is now a very attractive paraplegic. Peter, still not wanting to believe that Joe is a cripple, expects this all to be a prank, so he requests Joe to be a good boy and stand up for him.
Rise and shine. Come on, stand and deliver. Get the hell up.
Joe laughs at Peter and calls him a joker as he rushes to his position to play the game. Peter can only pray to God that the ball won't go towards Joe and that everything will be fine.
Don't hit it to Joe. Please don't hit it to Joe. Please don't hit it to Joe.
But God had another plan in mind, so the ball goes towards Joe, who surprisingly, despite being a cripple, is far better than Peter at playing softball. While everyone is celebrating Joe's victory, one little man is still trying to comprehend what just happened.
What the deuce? Half man, half machine.
Stewie mistakes Joe for a cyborg and wonders if his wheelchair will allow him to dominate the world. Stewie wants his technology for himself, so he directly asks Joe where he got his wheelchair.
You! How came you by this metal construct?
Joe thinks that Stewie wants to know how he became a cripple, so he recalls his story of how he fought a robber who was trying to steal children's Christmas presents. While trying to prevent that robbery, he had an accident and lost his legs in the process. Stewie feels that Joe is hiding information from him, so he warns him to keep an eye on his walls, as he might find himself lacking.
I should take the information from you by force.
So for that reason, he keeps on looking for a way to steal Joe's chair, but he never finds an opportunity for it. Until one day, Peter finds himself in a hostage situation under a robbery, where Joe has to come and rescue Peter. Using his superior negotiation techniques, he is easily able to persuade the robbers to give up and surrender themselves. This makes him a hero in front of everyone's eyes. So they pick him up and start tossing him like in that scene from Spider-Man 2. This allows Stewie to finally get to ride on Joe's chair.
Machine, I am your new master and I order you to go.
But unfortunately, the wheelchair isn't anything special, so Stewie just looks like a stupid child trying to do dumb things to attract attention. In the end, Lois picks him up and gives him a pacifier, and he immediately goes to sleep like a good child.
Peter, Joe's a hero, but he's not our hero. You are.
I guess we will never see him win for once. If Peter came close to losing his job in this episode, in the next episode, he not only lost it, but also nearly got into jail for fraud and was only rescued by Stewie, who didn't want to become fatherless just a year after his birth. The episode Death Has a Shadow starts with Stewie tweaking his mind control device that's almost near completion. But before Stewie can complete his masterpiece, Lois takes away his device thinking that it's just a toy.
Stewie, I said no toys at the table.
Damn you, vile woman!
While Stewie is steaming from fury, Peter enters the room and asks Lois if he can go to his friend's house for a party. But Lois warns him to not drink since his alcohol tolerance is the worst.
Look, at least promise me you won't drink. Alcohol always leads to trouble.
Come on, you're worrying about nothing.
I am sure Peter will keep his promise, right?
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
Oh boy, here we go again. While the boys are drinking beer, they ask Peter if he brought the spicy stuff. Peter pulls it out and flexes it in front of everyone. But just when things are getting heated, the hot girls turn into the Statue of Liberty, turning everyone soft again.
The Statue of Liberty? What are we gonna do?
Let's see what Peter has to say about this.
Boys, we're gonna drink till she's hot.
Hey, that's just crazy enough to work.
I am not sure if Lois is going to like this one. The following morning, Peter comes home all wasted and Lois isn't happy at all. She asks him what he promised her.
I wouldn't drink at the stag party.
And what did he do?
Feels like there's accountants cranking ad machines in my head.
Peter apologizes to Lois and she accepts it, so he leaves the table and heads back to work.
Apology accepted. All right, I'm going to work. Somebody's got to put food on this table.
However, this turns out to be a mistake since he falls asleep at work, which leads to his boss getting mad at him and he gets fired.
You're fired! Oh, geez, for how long?
Peter, it's a layoff, not a vacation. Now that Peter has no job, he has to inform Lois about this since he can't hide the truth for much longer. But there is a problem.
If she finds out I got fired for drinking, she's gonna blame me.
I mean, who else is there to blame? The person who invented beer? While Peter is still figuring out how to inform Lois, she starts feeling a bit suspicious, so she asks him what's going on.
I feel great. I haven't got a job in the world.
Peter lies through his teeth once again, which pisses off Brian, who suggests him to just tell her the truth.
What, that I can't provide for my family? That she's always right?
I mean, to be honest, that's something a man can never tell the family, that he can't provide for them. But Peter's reasoning is a bit different, because he doesn't want to prove to Lois that she was right, and that he didn't stand up to a tank in Tiananmen Square.
Screw this. I just came over to buy some fireworks.
The Chinese devices in my home aren't gonna like this one. After spending a few days trying to hide from Lois that he doesn't have a job anymore, Peter finally decides to tell her the truth at night. That same night, Stewie was also planning to get back his unfinished mind control device, but his plans are foiled by Lois, who wakes up and finds him playing with his toys once again, and not to mention at this time of night. This distracts Peter, so he forgets to tell her the truth once again. Brian berates him for lying once again and asks him to think of the family's welfare.
Jeez, Brian, that's a great idea.
Peter arrives at the welfare office, where the officer asks him if he has any disabilities or illnesses, to which Peter lies about a bunch of things to make him eligible for family welfare. Peter gives this news to Brian, who asks him how much they will be getting. Peter looks at the check and tells him,
Let's see, $150 a week.
well, it turns out that the government made some mistake, and instead of giving him $150 per week, he got $150 grand. Whew, that's a lot of money. I wonder how he will spend it.
Peter, you bought the statue of David?
No, I just rented it.
The statue seems to be missing its third leg. Just don't give it to Meg. She already got tons of other weird stuff in her room. She doesn't need more. Since Peter is now rich, he can finally afford the lifestyle that he always wanted. He used the money to buy his kids everything they wanted and even gave Lois all sorts of expensive gifts. However, just like Brian told him, this secret wouldn't last forever, and soon Lois finds out about the welfare check from the post lady, and Peter gets in big trouble.
Lois, I know what I did was wrong, but I only did it for you and the kids.
But Lois doesn't accept his excuses and tells him that he will be in big trouble if the state ever catches him. And just like that, the state catches Peter, and he is brought to the court to have his case presented. Peter pleads guilty to the crime, and the judge announces that Peter will be sentenced to jail for 24 months in prison.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh yeah!
Now's not the time, Kool-Aid guy. Stewie isn't happy with the jury, so he decides to have him change the sentence by using his mind control device.
Gosh, I can't separate a kid that young from his father. It's unjudgmental. All right, you're off the hook.
Peter gets freed from all the charges and even gets his job back, all thanks to Stewie. The episode had two of the most famous Family Guy catchphrases. Did you catch which of the two they were? Peter and his friends are doing their usual shenanigans in Quahog when Quagmire mentions how he travels all around the world, but the best strip clubs are only found in Canada.
In fact, I'd even go so far as to say that a Canadian strip club is the most magical place in the world.
Hearing this, how can a group of men resist not going to the land of the immigrants and see it for themselves?
Take us, Quagmire, please.
All right, let's do it.
Seeing that his friends are eager to go, Quagmire hooks them up with an even more amazing deal. By using his not-so-shady contacts, he manages to secure a private plane and decides to have a fun little vacation with the boys.
My God, this plane is awesome, Quagmire.
After ditching their families, the boys finally board the private plane and are on their way to Canada, when suddenly Peter decides that it would be a fun idea to open the door to see if the air pressure pulls him out. And the results are just as you would expect. The plane loses its balance, and even Quagmire, one of the best pilots of Quahog, isn't able to pull it up, and thus they crash.
What happened? Did we crash?
Yeah, we crashed.
Wow.
Playing stupid games made Peter and his friends suffer from the consequences, and now they are stranded in the middle of nowhere, or at least that's what they thought. Peter, being the most adventurous, decides to make some traps to hunt for wild rabbits, but ends up making Quagmire the second cripple of their group. Well, at least Joe got a cripple buddy now. Now that Quagmire is a cripple, and Joe being the same, the only person capable of maneuvering around is Peter, so the responsibility of finding dinner falls onto his shoulders. However, Peter gets lost and isn't able to make his way back to the camp. A search party is immediately called, and they start searching for Peter, but unfortunately, even after 2 months, they don't find him anywhere and the search is suspended. I guess the Canadian police are just as incompetent as the police from Quahog. But Lois isn't willing to give up, so she keeps on searching for Peter, and sure enough, they find him.
Thank God! We found you! Are you okay?
Although they did manage to find him, it was too late, since Peter had already become a feral beast. After spending 2 months in the wilderness, Peter doesn't remember anything and becomes an uncivilized beast. So to teach him the beauty of human civilization, Lois brings him back home. Just your average weeb when he sees his favorite waifu on the screen. Lois realizes that this is going to be difficult, but she doesn't give up and keeps on trying to have Peter become normal once again. She tries out different things, but Peter isn't in his right mind anymore. So in the end, she decides to just let him be free and go roam the wilderness.
No, go! Go on, get out of here!
Peter says his goodbyes to the family and is about to move on, but just then, Meg speaks, and this unlocks the core part of Peter's memory as he finally remembers everything.
Shut up, Meg.
Peter! Yeah!
You're back.
When love fails, the only thing that's better than love is the hate for your own daughter or son, depending on which timeline of the Family Guy we are in. Even if the previous episode ended on a hate note, this episode is the definition of love, as it involves none other than childhood blossoming love between young Peter and young Lois. The episode, Family Guy viewer mail number 1, follows Peter and other Quahog residents when they were all in kindergarten. And just like every other kindergarten, new kids come and leave every other day. And today, Peter and his friends are welcoming just another new kid.
Boys and girls, we have a new student joining us this morning. Her name is Lois Pewterschmidt.
Well, let's just say at that moment, Quagmire just awakened something he didn't know he had. Peter and Quagmire, who have never seen a pretty girl like Lois, immediately become attracted to her and start fighting each other to impress her. Lois enjoys the attention that she is given and tells them that she likes brave men. Peter tells Lois that men are brave, as if he is Batman, and decides to show her his bravery by going into the haunted mansion at the top of the hill. But Mort Goldman warns them not to go in there since it's highly infected with years of bacteria and is extremely dangerous for any human being.
Oh, zip it, egghead. You with your big words and your small, difficult words.
After shutting the Jew boy, Peter alongside the rest of the gang decides to explore the haunted mansion to impress Lois and Rizzer. But their bravery is short-lived, as they soon come across a ghost which scares them crapless and they are forced to run back home.
Ha! Get used to this sight, Diane. Guys running away from you.
Tom, you're so deep in the closet, you're finding Christmas presents.
Later, they learn that the whole thing was orchestrated by Mort Goldman, who manages to impress Lois with his intelligence.
Cheese and crackers. Now Lois will know everything.
This makes Peter and Quagmire into misogynistic Sigma males who pursue nothing but money. But this costs them everything, and by everything, even their sexualities. Well, if we are talking about sexualities, let's not forget the episode Family Gay. In this episode, Peter finds himself in a predicament that causes him to become a guinea pig for medical experiments. And oh boy, it's a wild ride from then on. The episode starts with Lois telling Peter to go out and buy some beans, but Peter forgets about it and buys a horse instead.
You bought a horse? Why the hell did... I didn't even give you that much money.
That's what I thought, Lois.
Lois is used to Peter doing weird things, so she isn't bothered, but the horse doesn't feel right to her.
Peter, there's something off about that horse. Peter, I don't think it's wise to have a brain-damaged horse as a house pet.
Shut up!
Only a brain-damaged person can understand another brain-damaged thing. Later, Peter and Lois are going to see a movie, but the horse is behind their car, so they can't move. Peter tries using the horn to warn the horse, but since it's mentally challenged, it doesn't understand and stands there like a fool.
All right, I'm gonna try something else.
Seeing this, Peter has no choice but to push it away, but this causes his car to slam into Cleveland's house, causing the naked black man to be exposed.
Oh, that's got all my stink of the day in it.
Lois is tired of the horse, so she asks Peter to do something about it, so he decides to let it participate in the horse race.
We are gonna get a great view of the track from up here. This is gonna be a great race.
Or that's what he thought, until the race started. The horse causes 100 grand worth of damages, which causes Peter to look for another job to pay all the bills.
Hey, Lois, look at this. Subject wanted for medical... What's that?
Experiments.
I don't think that's a good idea, Peter. Ah, shit, there he goes. Well, what's the worst they can do? It's not like they are going to inject him with a gay injection, right? Oh, well, you are on your now, Peter.
Okay, what's next?
This is the Seth Rogen gene.
There's no way he will accept it, right? Well, $20 is $20. After the series of experiments, Peter returns home and announces everyone his new boyfriend Scott and tells Lois that he will be leaving her.
Get used to it, because I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm sorry, Lois.
With Peter gone, Lois becomes extremely sad, so the kids try to cheer her up by saying they are still a family, and at least they aren't an Asian family. Yeah, just another Asian family. But with each passing day, Lois becomes even more depressed, which Brian can't bear to see, so he asks Stewie if there's anything they can do. With the solution in their hands, Brian and Stewie kidnap Peter and put him into the straight camp alongside a ton of other gay men.
This is straight camp, Peter. I'm sorry, but I'm doing this for Lois.
Peter and his other gay men are forced into extreme situations like this daily to make sure that they understand that being gay is wrong. However, Lois isn't so happy with Peter's situation and decides to free him from the torture by letting him go and live with his boyfriend Scott. Peter returns with Scott, who throws a large party for him with a lot of other gay men. Didn't know they injected him with the Diddy gene. While Peter is having a lot of fun with the semen all over his body, his heterosexuality suddenly reawakens, which causes him to run away back home while trying to forget about everything that just happened. Unlike in the previous episode where Peter became gay, in this episode, Forefathers, Peter realizes that Chris wasn't brought up properly, so he decides to teach him a thing or two about the way of a manly heterosexual male. The episode starts with Joe inviting Peter and Cleveland to go camping with him. Since his son is coming along with them, Peter and Cleveland decide to bring their own sons as well. Chris is eager to go since this will save him from the evil monkey that lives in his closet.
Monkey in a closet.
However, no one believes him, but they still let him come along since it doesn't matter if there's another person alongside them. At the camping site, Joe and Cleveland set up camp while Peter sits there and breathes in the fresh air of the forest.
It's almost as if this world was created especially for me.
While Peter almost came close to discovering that he was the main protagonist, Joe's son Kevin is busy doing everything that his father orders him to do. Seeing him try so hard to impress his daddy, Peter wonders if he will do the same on his wedding night. Now I know where that Baki scene was inspired from. While everyone at the camp is doing their part, even the kids, Chris is the only one who is slacking off as he can't even do the slightest bit of chores. Joe starts becoming worried that Chris might turn into a lazy bumpkin, so he reminds Peter to do something.
Peter, this is none of my business, but you're turning your boy into a slacker.
Peter, being Peter, takes it personally and starts fighting Joe over it. After they finish arguing, Peter and his friends leave Cleveland Jr. and Chris to safeguard the camp while they head out to do the fishing by themselves. However, their luck is terrible and they aren't able to bait any fish, and they come empty-handed back to the camp where they had stored some pre-bought food at the market. But when they arrive at the camp, they find that there is no food left and Chris is the one to blame for it.
Holy crap, Chris, what the hell?
The raccoons were here, see?
Peter realizes that maybe it's all his fault, just like Joe said, and starts to blame himself for it.
That's not your fault, Chris. I failed you as a father.
And to correct his mistake, Peter decides to let Chris grow under the care of other grown men, which is how Chris ends up getting a job as a ball picker at the golf club.
Hey, Dad, I'm working. Oh!
Apparently, Chris is a great hit at the club since he's so fat, so everyone wants to hit him. While Chris is busy being smacked around by balls from grown-up men, Peter finds out that Cleveland Jr. has a talent in golf and decides to turn him into a golf prodigy. Cleveland warns him that his son can't keep his mind on one thing at a time, so it won't work, but Peter is arrogant and promises him that he will be a great father figure to Cleveland Jr. Chris is left all alone again, so this time Quagmire picks him up and tells him not to worry as at least he has a dad, unlike him, who was only raised by his mother. So he was always crazy in the head, even as a child. Now this is a revelation. After picking up Chris, Quagmire takes him to all sorts of bars and clubs to show him how the world truly works. Chris learns a lot about adult stuff from Quagmire. A lot. But in the end, Chris realizes that this life isn't for him, so he returns back to his father, who also realizes that he can't teach Cleveland Jr., and so they both accept each other since they are a Family Guy after all. They said the thing. And there you have it, folks, the top 10 Family Guy catchphrases that have become a part of our pop culture DNA. Thanks for watching, and remember, like and subscribe to our channel. Till then, giggity giggity goo.